Before we conclude this training session, let me give you key points that you need to remember. First is for the internal quality auditors. So the internal quality auditors will be invited during the external audit, and your role is to become confidence builders during the course of the external audit. During the external audit, our processes, our preparations will be validated. And if we did our job well, there should be no surprises, especially for the internal quality auditors who first saw these audit findings. The external auditor is not discovering our system for us. We should already know our system. And as internal quality auditors, you will be asked to guide the external auditors and the auditees. Your role is to guide and not to answer. As guide, you need to help locate records, help navigate the documents, and help clarify the process flow, but never to answer. You also are required to help coordinate as requested by the process owner. Never answer questions intended for the process owner. And during that time, the process owner owns the process, and the auditor supports the audit. Also, when you are invited to serve as guide during the external audit, observe the recurring questions, focus on the areas being asked, be it about strength, be it about weaknesses and opportunities, because you have to take notes. And then you have to coordinate documents and records to avoid delays in the audit process. Also, I say support the auditees, never hide information, never coach during the interviews, never interrupt or argue defensively. Of course, demonstrate professionalism, calmness, confidence, teamwork, and openness. Now, these key points are about how auditees are expected to accept their auditors. So this message now is for the auditees. First, you have to welcome auditors as partners in improvement and be honest and open and answer only what is asked. When I say welcome auditors as partners for improvement, provide truthful answers and accurate information. If you do not know an answer, say so and identify the appropriate person that could answer the question. When I say be open, honest, and transparent, respond directly to the auditor's questions and avoid unnecessary information or speculations. Of course, answer only what is asked. Also, for the auditees, remember to support your answers with objective evidence. Cooperate with reasonable audit requests and remain professional if a nonconformity is identified. When I say support answers with objective evidence, provide documented procedure or means to prove what you are claiming. So instead of saying, we always do that, we always do this way, you can say, here is our documented procedure, and these are the records demonstrating our implementation. So cooperate with reasonable audit requests. You can assist the auditors by, for example, providing requested documents and records, making relevant personnel available, allowing access to applicable areas, and explaining processes when requested. When we say remain professional if a nonconformity is identified, do not argue defensively. You may ask for clarifications if needed. Understand the evidence and focus on the corrective action. A constructive response would be as follows. Could you explain the objective evidence supporting your audit finding? Again, for the auditees, view findings as opportunities for improvement. So even when a finding is valid, It is supposed to strengthen our management system if addressed effectively. Let me give you the behaviors to avoid during the audit, be it internal quality audit or external audit. First, hiding or altering records. Next is guessing answers, becoming defensive or argumentative, interrupting the auditor, blaming other departments or individuals, withholding requested information, providing documents unrelated to the question in an attempt to overwhelm the auditor. Answer honestly, provide objective evidence, and remember that the audit evaluates the management system, not the worth or competence of the people operating it. I would also want you to share these tips to your manpower. Be honest. If you do not know, say so and refer the auditor to the right person or evidence. During your echo session, please tell them also to be factual and base their answers on actual practice and not assumptions. As I shared earlier, be calm and respectful. Auditors are professionals performing an independent evaluation. Show evidence, demonstrate your process through records, documents, or observations. Listen carefully, ensure that you understand the question before answering. Don't fear the findings. Findings are part of improving our management system. Believe in the efforts of the entire institution. Trust the management system that we created all together. Believe in your training. Every workshop, every mock audit, every calibration prepared you for the internal quality audit and for the external quality audit. During audits, preparation is everything. The audit begins way before our auditor arrives. And also, remember, we are one system. A weakness in one audit affects everyone. We are here to improve. Findings are expected to strengthen our processes. During the audit, wear the hat of an auditor. The trail of their questions go like, is it documented? Is it implemented? Is it evidenced? Is it effective? And is it repeatable? Take into mind that evidence speaks louder than explanations. So say what you do what you say, and eventually prove it. So the last points to remember, every audit finding is a gift. Consistency beats perfection, and quality is everyone's responsibility. Again, an external audit is not a test of perfection. It confirms our commitment to quality. We have to trust the system. We have to trust our preparation. We have to trust ourselves. So we have to stay calm, rely on objective evidence, think like the auditors, and work as one team. Is not simply to pass the audit, but to demonstrate a culture of continuous improvement that benefits every learner that we serve. I would also want you to remember that the external audit that will be happening is not an examination. It is a conversation about confidence. An external auditor is not trying to prove that our organization is wrong. They are trying to gain confidence through objective evidence that our management system consistently delivers its intended outcomes. The audit is essentially asking one question: can we trust this system to consistently produce quality educational services? And then everything else is evidence. Let me reiterate, the audit is essentially asking one question, and that is, can we trust this system to consistently produce quality educational services? Or let me put it this way, can we have confidence that this management system being presented to us consistently delivers what it is designed to achieve? And then everything else is evidence. The auditor's role is to determine whether there is sufficient objective evidence to have confidence that the management system that we are presenting or that we will be presenting Will be consistently delivering quality educational services, will be meeting the needs of our learners and our beneficiaries, and will be complying with the ISO requirements. Everything that we present, from the processes to the records, their interviews, their observations, these results will serve as objective evidence that will help them answer that question. What are the expected results of our audits, both internal and external audit? So there should be no surprises. The greatest success of an audit, especially the internal audit, is that the external auditor does not discover significant issues that our organization should have already seen during the internal quality audit. The success indicator would be identified risks, corrective actions that were already initiated, and management that has already been informed. Expected outcome of an audit: management knows the real condition of the organization. So the internal audit should have provided the management with an honest picture of the management system, and not what people want the management to hear or to know. It is about what is actually happening, and the expected outputs, the areas of conformity that we have presented to the president, the non-conformities that we have presented, the opportunities for improvement, and the risks requiring management attention. Part of the expected results of the audit: evidence-based decision-making. It is expected of us to be already generating reliable evidence by now, because we have conducted the internal audit, which will allow the management to decide whether our organization is ready for certification. So this include questions that provide answered, including: are all required processes documented or implemented? Are documented procedures effective? This is for the stage 2 audit. Are people competent? This is for stage 1 and stage 2. Are records complete? This is for stage 1. And is the EOMS working as intended? This is for stage 1 and stage 2 of the audit. Expected results of the audit: improved process performance. The purpose of our internal quality audit and the upcoming external audit is to help us improve and not to find faults. Expected improvements include better process consistency, reduced errors in what we do, clearer responsibilities, better communication, and stronger compliance with procedures. Also, part of the expected results: increased employee awareness. Employees should better understand their responsibilities, their documented procedures, their process objectives, and their contribution to the educational quality. Expected results of the audit include also a stronger risk management. The audit should identify risks before they become problems. So by now, we should know that part of the risks are missing records, ineffective controls, unclear responsibilities, compliance gaps, and resource shortages. So these are expected results not just during the external audit, but also during the internal quality audit. Also, effective corrective actions. We are expected to have root cause identified, corrective action implemented, effectiveness verified, and issue prevented from recurring. So finding a nonconformity is only the beginning. You have tasks to do after this nonconformity is served to you. And of course, readiness for the ISO certification. Before recommending the organization for certification, us, the internal quality audit team and the quality assurance team, would confirm that the EOMS has been implemented, that processes are operating effectively, that employees understand their responsibilities, that required documentation and records are available, and that internal issues have been addressed. So these will be the criteria for proceeding to the stage 1 audit and to the stage 2 audit. Final notes: a successful audit is one where findings are accurate and evidence-based, risks are identified early, process owners accept the findings, corrective actions are completed on time, management gains confidence in the system, and the organization is demonstrably more prepared for the external audit. Our role is not to make our organization look good. Our role is to make the organization better. If we identify weaknesses before the external auditor does, we have fulfilled our responsibility. Every finding is an opportunity to improve our management system and strengthen the institution before the certification. So I hope this training has prepared you to face both internal and external audit with confidence. So as parting words, trust the system, trust the evidence that you have prepared, and trust your preparation. Good luck to everyone.